Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first video, hi, I'm Alaina, and this is The Organized Money, where we talk about planning life and managing money. In today's video, we are diving into my top 10 productivity tips from my top 10 productivity books. I want to share with you the 10 tips that have changed the productivity game for me and really helped me be able to get more done throughout the course of my day. So let's go ahead and get started. The first book, Getting Things Done by David Allen. If you're really into systems and strategy when it comes down to your productivity, then you will absolutely love this book. It breaks down the different ways you can intake information and make sure that you're able to rely on your system in order to get more things done throughout the course of your day. But my favorite tip from this book was the 2-minute rule. The 2-minute rule states that if a task will take 2 minutes or less to complete it, then you should get it out the way and do it now. I love this rule because it takes me out of the habit of adding any and every little thing to my to-do list and really puts me in the mindset of, can I do this right now? Instead of throwing laundry in a chair, I could quickly hang it up. If I need to send a text, I'll just send it right now. And if I need to put something away, can I just do it right now and get it out of the way? The 2-minute rule has helped me so much with my overall organization, the cleanliness of my house, and keeping those little pesky tasks off of my to-do list. My second favorite productivity book is Deep Work by Cal Newport. If you are a procrastinator that is easily distracted, then Deep Work is definitely the book for you. In this book, Cal Newport dives into how we live in a distracted world and how you need to find ways to regain your focus so that you can create meaningful work. I really love this book. It really helped me focus in on how much I was being distracted by the things around me and start to pay attention to how I could focus more. One of my favorite tips from this book is to give yourself a strict period of time that you will spend working. I had a really bad habit of overworking before I got my hands on this book. This book helps you to realize how you're limiting your overall productivity and leading yourself into burnout just by overworking yourself. And even with myself, I realized that after a vacation and after I've stepped away from my work, usually is when I am the most creative when I come back. So this tip is to give yourself a strict schedule of productivity. You're going to work from 9 to 5. You're not going to work on the weekend. You're going to give yourself deadlines and time frames, and this will help you to be super productive during the time that you need to be productive and also allow you to rest during the times that you need to rest. Now, of course, this one does take some time to get adjusted to. I know even with myself, sometimes I will still creep into working on the weekends, but I really do try to put this one in practice and give myself strict timelines around when I'm working and when I'm resting. The third productivity book that I absolutely love is The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. If you really wanted to get into the science behind habits and what causes you to do the different things that you do, The Power of Habit is the way to go. This book dives into the different aspects of our brain that causes us to do the different things that we do. And I really loved finding out why I am the way that I am. And one of the concepts that he talked about in this book was the habit loop. He explained that habits can be broken down into 3 parts: the cue, the routine, and the reward. The cue is the thing that triggers the actual habit itself, and then after you complete the habit is when you get your reward. But the most important part of this entire concept of this loop is the cue, because without the cue, the habit will never start. And once I realized that I always needed cues around myself in order to complete my habits, I started to put more cues in place, and that helped me so much with my habits. I'll put my workout shoes right next to my bed, so as soon as I wake up, I see them and the cue has been triggered for me to work out. I'll keep my planner open on my desk so that as soon as I walk into my office, it's the very first thing that I see, and I will start planning. I will put little things into place in order to trigger myself into the habits that I want to create. So learning about the habit loop in The Power of Habit has definitely helped me place more cues in my life and create more healthy habits. Fourth book is Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. In this book, Brian Tracy dives into 21 productivity habits that you absolutely need to apply to your life. He had a bunch of tips in this book that have been the foundation of what I do through the Organized Money, and so I was just eating it up. I loved every minute of it. One of my favorite tips from this book was to plan every day in advance and think on paper. Every minute that you spend planning can save you 5 to 10 minutes in the execution time. And I realized this years ago in 2016 when I first started thinking about creating the Organized Money. Whenever I planned my day, everything went smoothly. Whenever I didn't plan it, I usually would come into some type of bump in the road. And once I started connecting the dots and realized I was saving money, I was way more productive, and I was way more organized just by introducing a planner into my life, the Organized Money was born. So this is one of my favorite tips from this book, and it's something that I do every single day. I am always planning in advance. I'm always thinking on paper, trying to write things out and plan them out so that it doesn't take me a really long time to execute them. Everything flows so much smoother when you plan. The fifth book, The One Thing by Gary Keller. The One Thing is a different take on productivity because he really focuses in on how you should focus on one thing. Take your time enhancing that one thing and make sure your productivity is zoomed in, focused on that one thing that you want to achieve. And in this book, he talks about being a maker in the morning and a manager in the afternoon. So he makes the argument that in the morning we have the most energy, which means that we should try to complete our income producing activities in the morning time. I love this tip. I have definitely put it in place in my life. I usually will do a lot of the big tasks that I need to do for my business in the morning. All my filming is done in the morning. If I need to send out an email newsletter or send out anything to any clients, it's usually done in the morning. And then in the afternoon is when I will answer emails or do other smaller things for my business that does aid in my overall business, but aren't as important as the top tasks that I do at the beginning of my day. I have realized that this has definitely helped my business flow much better throughout the course of my day, and I'm able to get more done. Sixth book, The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. In this book, Timothy Ferriss dives into how he gave up the 8 hours a day work week for the 4-hour work week. And if you are an entrepreneur, I definitely highly suggest that you read this book. One of my favorite tips from this book is how he talks about batching your mundane and time-consuming tasks. Now, I had this one for a super bad habit. I would check my email 8 to 10, 11 times a day. But in this book, he talks about how it takes us on average 45 minutes to switch our brain from one task to another task. So if you keep changing up your focus with different tasks throughout the course of your day, you're never really truly focused on one thing. So what he suggests is for you to batch your mundane tasks and only do them at a certain time frame throughout the course of your day. So going back to the work emails, now I try and check my work emails around 1 p.m. and around 5 p.m. So checking my email twice a day instead of every single time I got a notification help me to stay focused on the task at hand, be it filming or whatever else I am doing, and not constantly switching my brain from task to task. Other things that I've put into place because of this task is paying all my bills on the exact same day of the month, automating as much as I could for my home and my business, and batching as much as possible my blog posts and my Instagram posts. The seventh productivity book that I absolutely loved was Atomic Habits by James Clear. James Clear gives you so many examples and so many reasons of why habits don't really catch on, and the different ways that you can apply them to your life to actually make them stick. My favorite tip from this book, though, is to create a habit so small that you can't say no. Many times when we are creating our habits, we like to start on a really big scale because we want to see results fast. But in this book, James Clear makes the argument that when you do that, when you make the habit so big, it makes it difficult for you to actually get started. So he suggests that you start super small so that you will actually stick to the habit. What does this look like? If you want to work out, say you're going to exercise for 1 minute a day. You want to write a book, write 3 sentences every single day. If you want to eat better, eat 1 healthy meal a week. What this will do is help you to start creating the habit, and once you start exercising and you're exercising for 1 minute, you'll just probably keep going because it makes no sense to stop at that time. But when you create a habit that's so small, it makes it very difficult for you to say no. If you only need to do 1 push-up or only need to eat 1 healthy meal, it's super easy. It's so simple that you won't want to say no, and then you start to build on that habit. All of a sudden, 1 minute becomes 10 minutes, and 10 minutes becomes 30 minutes, and the next thing you know, you're exercising every other day. But creating a habit that's so small that you can't say no is definitely a game changer. The 8th book is The Productivity Project by Chris Bailey. If you're a procrastinator, then this is definitely the book for you. He talks about one of my favorite tips from this book, which is the 6 triggers to procrastination. The things that cause us to procrastinate often usually falls under these 6 triggers. The thing is boring, it's difficult, it's frustrating, it's unstructured, it lacks in personal meaning, or it's not fun or rewarding. If you can figure out which one of these things is triggering your overall procrastination, then it will help you to beat that procrastination. Many times what I have realized is when I procrastinate, it's usually because I find an item difficult. If I don't know where to start, then I won't start at all. So what I'll try and do is break down the thing that I find difficult into small little steps so that I am able to overcome my procrastination. Reading this book will definitely help you realize your procrastination triggers and figure out how to overcome them. The 9th book that I absolutely love is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. In this book, you learn about the 7 habits that you need to have in order to become a highly effective person. And one of my favorite habits is to be proactive. I think I love this tip so much because it kind of ties back into planning, how you need to kind of be ahead of yourself and not just reacting to everything that's going on around you, but be proactive. Look at how you can take charge and take responsibility for different things that's going on around you. But I love this tip because he talks about how highly effective people don't let life just happen around them. They try their best to get ahead of it and see what they can do to put themselves in the best position. It's all about taking charge and taking responsibility for your life, and I absolutely love this tip. And the 10th book is Essentialism by Greg McKeown. This is another book that really helps you focus in on what's essential and what's important to you. One of my favorite tips from this book is learning the difference between hyperactivity and productivity. We subconsciously associate with more work with getting better results, meaning the more work we do, the more hours we put in, the better our results will be. But that's not always the case. Sometimes you have to streamline your efforts and really look at your overall goal. Just because you're doing more work doesn't mean you're getting better results. You might just be burning yourself out and getting extremely tired in the process. So learning the difference between what's just more work and what's actually productivity is a great way to know if you're actually doing the work that's important to you. So guys, those are my top 10 productivity tips from my top 10 productivity books. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and if you have any of your own productivity tips from a book that you have read, either one of these 10 or one of the ones that I have not mentioned, please let me know in the comments below. I am always looking for new books to pick up, and I would love to hear from you. I will see you in my next video, and until then, keep organizing your life so that you can achieve your dreams. Bye guys.